Hey, what up everybody, this is Stevie Breach coming to you. I've just come to the conclusion of watching Triple H, Thy Kingdom Come. Honestly, everybody knows, I've said this 1,000 times, Triple H is one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. And when I make this review, I believe that when you grade your favorites, it can either go two ways. You're either going to grade them, just on the easiest scale because you want to make them seem like they're always at the top of their game and that you can't be topped. Or you can just go the complete opposite direction. Honestly, with most WWE documentaries, they're always really, really well done. They're always really, really well put together. They have an awesome voice that does like the, that puts the story together in between the clips and everything like that, getting you from one point of his career to the next. Because every once in a while they skip, large periods of time, and they just need to have one sentence basically say, like, he fought a lot of mid-card guys, and then he needed to get up to the main event, so he finally challenged somebody. I thought that it was very, very well put together. But when it comes to your favorite guy, you want to dig deeper, and sometimes, even though it is WWE, and this is the guy that is, going to be leading them, on the second stage of, or maybe even the third stage, being from Vince McMahon Sr. to Vince McMahon Jr. to Triple H and Stephanie taking the company, the one day Vince McMahon finally steps away and walks away. It's so funny that I can't remember what year the McMahon DVD came out, 2005, 2006, but that was the big joke because of how well known it was. Triple H and Stephanie were married, and they were moving in the direction of the people that were going to be taken over. Vince was taking Triple H under his wing, teaching him what was done. And I remember if it was at the end of a documentary, it might have been one of the special features you had to watch one of the clips for. And it talked about Triple H saying, like, Vince McMahon always prides himself on a man who's never missed a day of work in 25, 30 years. He's not the one kind of a guy that's going to take a vacation. And now that he has these grandkids in his life with Shane's kids and Stephanie's kids, he sees himself, as the grandpa taking his kids to the park and this, that, and the other. And Triple H, you can see in his eyes that he knows, like, I remember making the jokes at the time that, like, this is some scary shit that, I don't really know if Triple H is the guy that really could do this, and I think that Triple H and Stephanie could be really be the people who's sinking the ship, because Triple H really was like, you could see it in his eyes that, he knew at that point he was the guy that was going to get pointed on the thing. When you go through this documentary and you get down to the end, and it's the chief operating officer, you really do believe in this guy, and that that he really does know what he's doing, and he is making the right decisions. They don't go out of their way to let you know about all the people that he has brought in, but everybody knows that Triple H is the guy that really is the guy that locked up Bruno Sammartino going into the Hall of Fame. In the grand scheme of things, to me, it doesn't mean anything. But he is sort of the guy that goes out and gets talent. He's the one that recruited and brought in Karma, which was supposed to be a big deal, and it flopped. He is the one person that went out and really locked up signing Sin Cara from Mexico. We find out from the documentary is the guy that locked up bringing Brock Lesnar back. Brock Lesnar makes an appearance in the documentary saying that he is the person that was in full contact with him from, I guess, the day he made his retirement from UFC. And that's when the talks probably started talking to the moment he walked out on the stage on Monday Night Raw that night after WrestleMania 28 in Miami. You could see that, maybe this isn't, the wrong, track to be going on. Maybe Triple H has such a love for wrestling and has such a love for the wrestling business, he is going to make the right moves, even if it doesn't make the right, amount of money, even if it's, even if it's right for business, that's what he has to do. That's the thing what he's going to do. But honestly, in my mind, Triple H is the kind of guy that, the DVD's in my hand here. I have the Game documentary that came out a few years ago. I bought his book, and none of that has really been enough for me. When somebody, you like a sports figure or a movie star, or a wrestler like this, you want to dig deeper, and I wish that it was like a huge book, like the Bret Hart book, that I could really just go and just divulge into everything, because they pick out the biggest points in his life and his wrestling career, but then they leave, so much, unturned. Like, did we really need to talk about the McMahon-Helmsley wedding for, 5-6 minutes of his documentary? It was cool to see, I wish they would have shown Flair, because I'm sure Flair would have been crying like a baby, but it was cool to see, Big Show being there. Shawn Michaels is one of the groomsmen. William Regal, who was a big part of his career. He puts over guys like Terry Taylor, somebody that always really thinks is a big wrestling joke, and, recently I just found out that he's like the one guy that Triple H really relies on, for his, information about wrestling, about when looking at guys and things like that. It is, pretty cool to see him out there as well. But we didn't really need the acting stuff. That was, pretty stupid. It was a part of his career. You get to see, clips of wrestlers that the interview. Everybody was really ecstatic that The Undertaker was going to be on there. It's only a matter of time before we finally get an Undertaker documentary, which I believe in my thoughts. And The Rock is interviewed in what looks like he's wearing a ball cap, and I think he's wearing a leather jacket, if my memory's, it seems like an interview that was done just for this documentary. It doesn't seem like it's recycled or reused clips from anything like that. Shawn Michaels, Kevin Nash in a horrible suit, the Road Dogg, Billy Gunn, everybody you can think of that would be on here, except for one of his biggest foes. And I don't think it kills the DVD, but it makes me start thinking, Stone Cold Steve Austin is nowhere to be found. From hearing about the Stone Cold Steve Austin podcast and listening to him on there, I don't think he disrespects Triple H. But if I'm Triple H, I'm wondering why the fuck he isn't on this documentary. We haven't seen Stone Cold in and around WWE in a long time. So long that I think the last time he was in a ring or even made an appearance for WWE was WrestleMania 27. I know he does the video game, meet and greets that was so famously made known this year by the whole Ric Flair situation. What else is that guy really doing? I mean, he likes to hunt. He does some autograph shows. He makes a movie now and then. He couldn't go up to Stanford for one day. He couldn't invite the WWE people over to his house for, 2 hours to have little clips about Triple H. He's one of the biggest foes, one of the biggest stars WWE's ever had, and he is missing on this. At the end of the day, I don't think Triple H is one of the best documentaries they've ever put out. Will I ever rewatch this someday? Will I watch the hell out of the matches? Yes. As I was, sitting there, trying to think about everything I was going to say in this, I watched the match between him and Ricky Steamboat from WCW. I watched the match from One Night Only over in the UK. I believe it was in England with Dude Love. And I watched a good 30 minutes of the Iron Man match with The Rock. I will watch the hell out of these matches. But I think in my mind, honestly, The Four Horsemen is still the best wrestling documentary that the WWE's ever made. I think The Rock and the Stone Cold Steve Austin documentary are the recent late ones that are really, really hard to top. I love Triple H. And my only knock on this documentary, honestly, is that it just didn't give me enough as a huge Triple H fan. Some things that I can only say that contrast other stories that I've heard is the story about him getting signed to WCW was he was working at a gym. He got sent to a gym convention that Ric Flair was going to be there, and he brought along all of his indie paperwork. Man, they show some stuff of him training in the indies. He looked bad. Very bad. Stuff that I honestly never really wish I ever would have saw. And that's for me, and I've never even been in a ring. I've never even been a professional wrestler. But to see your favorite guy be that bad, it was bad. He went to this convention for work, but he was also really hoping to meet Ric Flair. He did get to meet him and shake his hand, take his picture. But he actually met another WCW official that he was able to trade paperwork, and it pretty much seemed like a locked deal that this guy wanted to sign Triple H. The story that I've always heard with the Game documentary and through other stories is that the Game basically, Triple H got a hold of Eric Bischoff, and they sort of made a deal that, Triple H would move to Atlanta on his own, and he would go to the power plant And that's how he would impress Eric Bischoff. And if he impressed Eric Bischoff, he would give him a deal. And I don't know if that's just a story that they made up because Bischoff was involved in the company and they wanted to get him on the documentary. And maybe they didn't want to make Eric Bischoff look like that big of an idiot, or maybe they did want to make up the fact that Eric Bischoff lost one of the biggest stars that WWE has ever had. And not only that, the guy that's going to take over the freaking company worked for the other guys and let him go. And he was one of the main players that killed WCW by just being so damn good over in the WWE. But you get to see, the rise and fall of DX, the rise of Evolution. Batista really puts him over as one of the guys that really got inside his brain and really just, made everything that they did better. It was pretty cool, with the whole thing about Mick Foley. I never really thought about this before today, but Mick Foley was the guy that really got Triple H from being just a guy to being a mid-card performer, and then also later on in life, Mick Foley's the guy that got him from being, a mid-carder to being the main eventer. So, I thought that was really good. His feuds with The Rock were the ones that, really, once Mick Foley got him to that place, it was the feuds with The Rock that got him to the next place. So, cornerstones of Triple H's career are built around Mick Foley and The Rock, and also, who can forget the Stone Cold Steve Austin feuds that, that were along the way. Triple H, my favorite wrestler. At the end of this, I didn't cry, but I had emotions at the end of this that, just remembering how much, Triple H has meant to me, for somebody to be called your favorite wrestler, it honestly really means a lot that you put him above everybody. And especially if you're going to have somebody like Triple H be your favorite wrestler, that's always going to come with some sort of, backlash from people because he's so hated for the spot he has that so many people honestly really think he only has it because of, who he's married to and who his father-in-law is. And there's, and he wrestled in an era with guys like The Undertaker, a guy that's always going to be, known as one of the best guys. Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock, two of the most popular guys that there have ever been. Just off the top of my head, when I got a few minutes left on this they give you awesome insight. They make up tons of excuses for WrestleMania 25. That was probably one of the most funniest parts. Honestly, if it was my documentary, I just would have honestly left it alone. But I think they really dove in and gave you more of the WrestleMania 25 stuff, WrestleMania 26 stuff of Taker and Shawn, because it built up that, what was 27 and 28 Taker versus Shawn Michaels and the Hell in the Cell and the regular match. WrestleMania 27, one of the favorite matches I've ever seen live. And is that on here? I can't remember. I don't think it is. I think they just gave us... Yeah, they just gave us the one against Brock Lesnar as a Blu-ray exclusive. But, damn, this was good. Not one of the best. I wish I had some more. It makes me want to read his book again because it's been a good while since I read it. But, Triple H, one of my favorite wrestlers. I got a retweet from PJ Polanco, otherwise known as Just Incredible. I don't even know how he follows me. But I just tweeted Triple H about, I just watched your documentary, thank you for your career. I always got my money's worth, whether it was live or whether it was on pay-per-view, and he retweeted me, which honestly means a lot because I know how much, PJ and Triple H meant to each other in their career. Maybe PJ, maybe it's the opposite way, but whatever it is. But thank you very much, and I appreciate all your guys' time. Make sure you buy this. I'm not going to tell you it's the best that they've ever done. It's up there, but it's not there. I don't know how to really end this, but that's it. Peace out.